Luke, I understand you've become pretty handy in the kitchen.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so let me re-qualify this review.
All right, go ahead.
Luke, I understand you've been testing out a product
Yes.
that is a smart kitchen appliance
Yes.
of sorts.
Yes.
And you are ready to share your findings
I am.
of this guy.
I am.
Before we do that, if you're listening, if you're watching, this is your first time, thanks for finding us.
Yes,
Thanks
thank you.
for checking us out. We hope you enjoy it. Stick around through the whole thing. We hope it's worth your time.
Yeah.
If you do like it, be sure to subscribe or tell a friend, share it. If you subscribe for the notification bells, do that type of stuff, you might find we have quite a few things for you.
Yeah.
We drop about 5 or 6 things a week for people. Tech reviews, buyer's guides.
Yep.
All kinds of just seemingly random but seemingly related things.
Yeah.
So anything like that you do will help us. It goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke, you've been checking out the Multo?
Yeah.
Is the name of the...
Yeah, so it's the Multo by CookingPal.
Okay.
And what this is a kitchen appliance. But when I say appliance, it is an appliance that actually acts as multiple appliances.
I bet you that's why it's called the Multo.
I think you're right. I think you're right. This thing is really cool. So it has there's 2 components. There is the actual Multo, which is a base with a kind of a pan or a pot that snaps into place.
Okay.
And then there is a lid for that, but also in there is a blade for food processing. You can put a basket in for steaming vegetables. There is a tray for sautéing. There is a whisk attachment for mixing things. It has a built-in ability to weigh all of the things in your pan.
So, in looking this thing up,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that as I was kind of checking out the reviews and when this thing was announced, this was actually something that we had listed as best of CES a couple of years ago.
Sure.
Because it seemed so kind of like, man, this could be the kitchen of the future.
Sure.
The weighing aspect of that is really cool, and I hate to kind of steal from you here, but I think that it's really interesting in how, when you're adding your ingredients and it says add X number of ounces of this liquid, chicken broth or base, or like you're not pouring it into a measuring cup and then adding it, are you?
No.
What do you?
You just pour it right into the pan. So I made soda bread, Irish soda bread. So also on the CookingPal website, there is a whole list of recipes.
Okay.
And so they have the other component of the Multo is a kind of tablet that will give you different information for your CookingPal. It will give you speeds for the mixers. It'll give you temperature for the sautéing or different things you're doing. If you're steaming vegetables, it'll give you different, you can do timers. Also in that, though, is guided recipes.
Okay.
So if you pick one of their recipes, it will tell you the steps, and then it will guide you through it. At this time, put all your dry ingredients in. And so when you do that, you say, it says 16 ounces of flour. And instead of measuring out 16 ounces and then putting it into the pot, you can just dump the flour, and it on that screen of the tablet will tell you the weight of how much you're putting in real time.
Okay.
And then you can hit tare and zero out your weight and add the ounces of your next ingredient.
So if it says add 2 more of something else, you're resetting what you've got, and now you're adding 2 to that.
You can reset it, or you can just keep going. So if 16 ounces of flour and 2 ounces of salt or something would be 18 ounces, you can just keep going until it's 18 ounces.
Nice.
And kind of however you want to do it. The other thing that you can do in those recipes, you can add them to kind of a favorites list if you want to keep that recipe and do it again.
Okay.
But in the middle of the recipe and the guided recipes, you can take notes. So there's a feature in there if you just want to pop open a note and just write added 3 ounces instead of 2.
Sure.
Just to
So if
kind
you're
of help
playing
you
with the
remember.
recipe,
Yeah.
they say, hey, I tend to prefer my cookies a little bit chewier.
Sure.
I'm going to lean into this ingredient.
Right.
Kind of put that in the note so
Right.
I know what I did.
So there are guided recipes, and then, or you can just do a manual mode where you can use these different features and set the settings yourself without having to do a guided kind of recipe. So if you're just like, hey, I know I need to, just make this dough, it still gives me the weight, so I can weigh all this out manually, and then I can just hit need, and it'll mix it.
Okay.
And I can say, do it at speed, from speed 1 to 10. I can just pick how fast it does it, and I can pick how long I want it to do that.
Nice.
It'll do other things. It'll chop, it'll grind, it'll grate, it'll sous vide, which is a thing that emulsify. I mean, it kind of does everything. It even has a self clean. So I did not test the self clean.
Okay.
Because I just didn't necessarily want to get into that.
Sure.
And I don't know I think there are some qualifications on, what it will self clean.
Sure.
I can't imagine. So I made bread. I can't imagine it's going to self clean all the extra dough left in that pan.
Yeah, you kind of feel like I know that I can do a good job of cleaning it.
Sure.
With what I've got here. It doesn't sound like there's a lot to what's going on that you can't kind of like clean it easily.
Yeah, no. It's very easy to clean, very easy to take apart. It's kind of a hybrid of plastic and metal. And none of the pieces are very, it's all sturdy. It doesn't feel fragile in any way. The whole base system of the Multo has suction cups on the bottom, 4 suction cups where
so if it's kneading,
it'll sit on your counter and it will stay in this place that you set it down. It's heavy enough that those suction cups will automatically stick. And I was kneading some bread and you could see it wobbling, but it didn't go anywhere. Because it stays there.
How much space does something like this take up? Because I know when it came here to the office,
the box was big.
It was a big box.
Yeah, so it's a pretty decent footprint. Okay. Our kitchen is not a huge kitchen, but it's pretty standard. We don't have deep countertops. We don't have shallow countertops. Our countertops are about 18 inches or 2 feet deep. And this uses almost all of that footprint. I think it's almost like 16 inches deep by about 12 inches wide. And then the tablet is on top of that. That tablet is a separate piece that can be used wireless, or it has a USB-C cable that you can plug in to it to charge. Okay. But this, you can definitely, it's not something that you hide away very easy.
Well, it sounds like, and looking at the pictures too, it looks aesthetically pleasing enough that if it stayed on the counter, it would be okay.
Yes.
It doesn't look like, oh, you need to put your pots and pans away.
Right.
Like it looks like an appliance.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a countertop appliance. And then some of the extra accessories is stuff that you would store in a cabinet or something. Sure.
In terms of recipes, did you find that it has a decent selection?
It has all kinds of stuff. So you can make main courses, you can make soups, you can make appetizers, you can make desserts, you can make side dishes, all kinds of different stuff. You can just make milkshakes. Okay. You can make salad dressings. It really kind of does all kinds of things. And their recipe list is constantly being added to. It's like over 200 different things now. And it seems like they add
5 a week.
Yeah, 5 a week.
Going back here, I can see for the last couple of months, it looks like they're hitting a pretty good clip of things. And it seems to span a pretty wide range. We're looking at carrot and ginger juice, followed by Sicilian pan pizza, smashed avocado with poached eggs,
Yeah.
potato gnocchi. I mean, these are all kinds of different things, and I can imagine that favorite list being something that
Yeah.
wanting to try.
Yeah.
If not,
And I can imagine with, some of these recipes, it's easy to swap out a protein or something like that.
Sure.
If you're like, oh, this, the steamed paella, I don't know if I really want the mussels. Maybe I want to do,
Yeah.
something else.
So let's talk about the price.
Yeah.
This guy's not cheap.
No.
But from what I have gathered, it seems like it has a place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this guy runs about $1,000.
Yeah, $9.99.
Yeah.
And so what you get for that, you get the Multo, the tablet, the accessories, and access to the recipes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all included. There's no subscription fee or anything like that. Now, $1,000 is not cheap.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Right.
But the amount of appliances that this thing will work as, when you kind of maybe do that math together,
right,
and the fact that it has a manual mode, that you can use those functions separately, I think it is a little bit more easy to swallow that price point.
I mean, if you think about even just buying like some pans,
a
couple pots, some whisks and bowls and things,
a food processor,
that stuff adds up pretty quickly. Like even buying some mixing bowls, it's, nickels and dimes, seemingly, but if you're starting out as somebody who's just moved out,
sure,
and says, "Hey man, I don't have anything. I need something good to start with." This seems like a good place to go.
Yeah, or if you're in, more of a studio style apartment or a smaller kind of area, you have one device that takes up the counter space rather than having to find counter space for 5 or 6 appliances.
Right.
So yeah, I think this thing definitely has a person that it's made for, a definite use case. I think it's not necessarily something for people that have been cooking for a long time or have been have all the, if let's say you have a kitchen, you enjoy cooking, you have all of these appliances already.
Yeah.
You don't need this.
Sure.
It's not really taking the place of those if you already have them.
And same thing with like the recipes. It kind of, by them offering that, it kind of speaks to the, hey, we're here to help you with things that you may not be sufficiently adequate with or may not have experience with.
Right.
If you have a KitchenAid, either as a gift or has purchased yourself, and you've made cookies over the years and done things, like you may not need the help with those recipes.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey man, I've never really made homemade cookies or done any type of making my own bread or anything, like this is the type of thing where you don't have to buy anything else.
Right.
You can kind of, this already does that. You just haven't been using that feature.
And, and it kind of teaches you, what some of these appliances do, what they can be used for.
Sure.
It's very cool. It has, I would love to see maybe, I would love to see CookingPal maybe partner with somebody like a Blue Apron or a HelloFresh and offer a like, hey, here's a Multo subscription plan.
Yep.
And we're going to send you these ingredients every week. And then CookingPal has the recipes available. And then they're going to take you through making all of these. That idea sounds really compelling. Because then I know that I'm having all the ingredients sent to me and I have the device that's going to do everything I need.
I don't have to wonder, do I have something to mix?
Right.
Or how do I need this?
Right.
Now
the one thing that this doesn't have is the one thing is not going to take the place of is an oven.
Sure.
It's not. So, if you are looking at, you like this idea for, a studio apartment efficiency living, you are still going to need to look into, an oven, convection oven, something like that. But it does almost everything else.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. It was a little overwhelming, to be honest with you, when we first got it and saw the size of the box.
Yeah.
And to look at it and go, oh man,
who's taking this home?
Right.
Who's gonna eat up their kitchen with this and go through? Yeah.
But once you get it out, put it together, setup is very simple. You plug it in, turn it on, and then I had to run a couple updates. I had to run an update on the tablet and an update on the actual Multo device. Both of those took about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Both of them connect to Wi-Fi, so you can have access. You can control one. You can control the Multo from the tablet wirelessly in your house somewhere. So if, let's say, you set up for one of your recipes, you have to sous vide some chicken for 20 minutes. You can take the tablet with you, and that timer will be on there, and you can keep track of that, where it's going. Now it doesn't have infinite range,
right?
But generally inside of your house is going to be fine. And it also cleans itself.
That's also, if you have these other things and you have a KitchenAid and you're making your cookies, you have to clean that thing when you're done.
Yep.
This has, and I'm scrolling through it. It looks like it has a couple of cleaning modes.
Yep.
Quick wash, deep clean, and the pieces are also dishwasher safe too.
Yep.
Awesome. So, do you think you'll be doing a couple more recipes before we send this thing back?
Yeah, I think we're going to try a couple other things. I'd like to try maybe there's a couple different juices or milkshake options. I'd like to try that, and maybe some sort of dessert and see how that works. And then some sort of saute or sous vide or some sort of thing with a protein, kind of see how that works.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Be careful with the milkshakes. You're going to have boys in your yard.
Right.
All right.
I mean, it does bring all the boys to the yard.
Shame on me.
Yeah, you did it.
Awesome, man. So that's CookingPal.com, and this is the Multo.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an all-in-one kit.
Yep.
So thank you, Luke.
No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.